To the NBA we go, where the biggest story entering Game 4 is the health of Steph Curry. Al Horford rolling on Curry's leg as the two dove for a loose ball in the fourth quarter of Game 3. Steph providing this update on his status for tonight.
I'm going to play. That's all I know right now. Get as much recovery and healing as possible. Understand how important Game 4 is, and I'm excited about the opportunity. Because I went through what I went through at the end of the regular season and coming back, I know exactly what it is, what I got to deal with, and there's, I guess, comfort knowing I've been through it before, but also you'd rather not have to deal with something like that.
All right, Pat Bev is here. Monica McNutt is on the scene there in Boston. But Pat Bev, you weren't here last hour for this discussion, so I want to start with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can the Warriors win with a hobbled Steph Curry tonight?
Yeah, I think if Steph Curry's on the court, they give themselves a chance to win any game. I think just the gravitation he pulls from not only defensive players but at defensive teams also. Everyone's looking at Steph. So I'm happy he's playing. The game needs him to play. The Warriors need him to play. If they don't, they're in a world of hurt. So obviously he said he's dealt with this before. So I guess it's just a management standpoint from this end.
So as long as he's on the court, they're good, even if he's not 100%.
He's not 100%. I feel like they're good.
All right.
The numbers say so. The numbers say when he's on the floor, they're a better team. In fact, never mind what he does offensively. How about for his teammates? I mentioned this earlier. In the NBA Finals, when his teammates have attempted 125 shots, when he's on the floor shooting 46% and 80% are contested. When he's off the floor, they shoot 39% and 89% of those shots are contested. So he draws defense, he draws attention, he gives you more space to work, and the result is better shooting.
All right, Monica, what's the word? You're right there in Boston after practice, just after seeing him. It's a very, very short turnaround, only 1 day off. But what's the word on his health?
Well, he's going to play like we heard in that sound there. I asked Steve Kerr about the short turnaround, Hannah, and he said it's just like a regular season game, so he wasn't overly concerned there. I'm sure that the training staff has done everything they can to have Steph be ready. If he's hobbled, though, guys, I know those numbers are great, but if he actually is hobbled, to me it is a point of concern, and not just offensively, it's a little bit more defensively because the Celtics are going to continue to come at him. So it seems, having watched him a little bit move around, it's not going to be an issue. But if he's less than 100%, this is a very, very physical series, and I think that could take a toll on the Warriors.
I got a question. Monica, you were a basketball player. I wouldn't say back in the day, so I'll just say you were a basketball player in the past. If you know as basketball players, if you get hurt, I don't know, a pulled muscle, you're thinking about that injury a lot, which takes your mind off basketball, which allows you to actually play the game a little bit much better. So for viewers who don't understand.
You're a little bit looser than actually.
Don't be surprised if he has one of the best shooting games of the series. That's usually what happens when players get injured.
So, Pat, I'm kind of with you, right? I think to me, and again, I don't really buy that it's going to be an issue, but I'm actually concerned a little bit more about the defensive end if it's an issue. We know Steph can get his shot off with ease, right? Like, he doesn't need a ton of time. He doesn't need a ton of space. But to me, the other side of the ball is the part that concerns me because there's so much movement and shifting there. And if he were to become a liability because of injury, I just think that's an easy click for the Celtics to go after. And in a series where we've already seen sort of swings in terms of the defensive team that shows up from both teams.
And they really were testing him defensively in Game 3.
I think they're going to do that regardless.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that changes.
Well,
whether Steph is 100%, 92% or whatever percent. They're going to attack him. They're going to attack Clay. They're going to attack Draymond. They're going to attack everyone from beginning to end.
And they have tried to get him in the post. We saw in Game 3 a lot of times Marcus Smart was getting him in the post, and they were trying to get one-on-ones on him, beat him up a little bit. But I love that perspective because that is something that a lot of regular people don't see. That you think a player's injured, he's not going to be as good, but actually it almost makes you lock in a little more when you're injured because you got to focus a little more. Yeah. He might end up having a great game. That's a tremendous.
I mean, we've seen it throughout sports, right? Like these heroic games where someone is hurt and then they come through.
Yeah.
And we don't know how badly he's hurt, but also he needs help.
Yeah.
Let's face it. So hurt or not, who has to step up tonight to help him, Pat Bev?
Everybody. I feel
Can you name names?
I have to feel like Draymond has to be the best version of him, the calm version of him. I think Clay has to shoot the ball at a high clip to put a lot of pressure on the Boston Celtics and to take pressure off Steph. I think Jordan Poole has to step up and play very well, just not play well at home. That's easy. You know, they're trying to win a championship, so, you know, you got to get out your body a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they got doubled up in the paint, Monica. They got doubled up on second chance points as well.
Yeah, and guys, I loved the line from Steve Kerr, who I won't say that he played down offensively what's happening, but he basically said it starts on the defensive end for us. And he said we have to have the right sense of force and urgency, and then you earn the right for the basketball to go in. And I think that's true. When they strapped up in game 2, we saw the ball go in at a high clip.
Yeah, Draymond Green, to me, has to go into this game feeling like I've got to have the best game maybe of my playoff career.
Wow.
He has to have an impactful game that is not impactful as far as a lot of the things that we've been talking about the last couple of days, but more on the effort and energy that, as again, what Patrick Beverley is this for his team. The harder he works, the harder everybody else works. The more intense he is, the more intense everybody else is. I think Draymond has got to get back to that game and be a difference maker for his team.
All right, even more than an X factor, but
Yes.
but a very critical piece. Guys, we're going to talk more about Draymond coming up, but
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.